that's all I had for questions. I was just like, I want to know. I was making notes. I was like, I want to know more about this. I want to talk more about that. Oh, he mentioned this thing, and so
Well, good. I'm glad it was interesting enough that you had some other things. So
yeah. And it's I don't know if you know. Do you follow Long Story Farms on Twitter?
yeah, yeah.
He, I interviewed him. Oh man, he was like my second or third that I interviewed, and he's like, it's kind of weird thinking someone finds you interesting enough to
I was gonna say
want
that.
to
Yeah,
want to interview you, but I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. You got good stuff to say. I want to know more.
No, it is kind of weird, especially something like this. Like, I mean, I've done other things for longer. I mean, I work in import export. I'm a licensed customs broker. I've done these other things, and
Hmm.
so I feel like, I, not that I know anything about customs work anymore since I do IT, but it is funny. Like, out of all the things to be interviewed on, is one of the things that I still feel like I'm still learning so much about, and still I feel like, I mean, not that I'm necessarily bad at it. I don't feel like I'm past being a novice, but like the idea that somebody would, and I mean, sometimes when I post advice on Twitter or whatever, I'll reply to somebody and I'll be like, is this person intelligent if they follow my advice? Like, why would they do this? But we have learned, and it is interesting. It is kind of cool to realize that I've kind of gotten past the point where my advice is worthless, and maybe something that I've said will have practical value to somebody. So that'd be pretty cool.
I that's what in all that I do, I'm hoping that someone sees something and be like, you know what, this guy, and not to like pick on you or point like whatever, but it's like this guy failed so hard and he's still doing it. And I don't even think you've really failed that hard. It's not like you're completely unprepared and all your animals died in one fell swoop or something like that. It's just
No, but
like
I mean that
I
that
can
is
do this.
yeah, and that's ultimately. I mean, that was a big thing that hopefully people took away is you're gonna fail just like you fail at so many other things. I mean, I've personally, professionally, you know everybody fails at stuff. It's
Yeah.
okay, especially if you're doing something like this. I the wood stove. I had that chimney fall off twice. To be honest with you, like middle of a rainstorm, I had that chimney because they told me it didn't need bracing if it wasn't taller than 6 feet outside the house. Well, it needs bracing, as a matter of fact, because the wind blew it off. So there's little, or it leaked. It leaked down.
Oh no.
So I had things where I'm like, well, you know what? But it's the first chimney I ever put up. So like the idea that you're gonna succeed in raising a bunch of animals, or you're gonna succeed in a garden or whatever, like when you're first doing it, it's a stupid idea. And it's one of those things they get that idea from, online, or watching these picture perfect YouTube channels, or, the
Mm-hmm.
TikTok video. And it's easy to fall prey to that, but you're doing it for yourself. Like, you're going to screw up, and I've had animals die because I screwed up. I've had animals probably, miserable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's heavy in that way, but it's no different than any of these other things that you'd have to do, and you're going to fail. And it's okay to do that. Absolutely okay.
Right. I
So.
I try to strip away the intimidation a little bit to like let people talk about their failures. Like, okay, it's okay to fail. But then at the like, you just make mistakes and that's how you learn, right? And so and the other thing, it was like I think it was like last week on Twitter, there was a I don't remember who it was. Somebody posted something like, wow, this is LARPing homesteading to the extreme or whatever. And it was like all her photos were like picture perfect. And like it came out of like a Martha Stewart magazine. It was what it
Yeah,
looked like.
yeah,
And I'm
that
like,
video.
those are unrealistic standards because people need to see that actual homestead or farm or whatever it is you're doing is messy, it's unorganized, it's not picture perfect. And so like if all you're doing it for is like Instagram or whatever, you're doing it for the wrong reasons because it's gonna be unorganized, it's gonna be messy. Like sorry, you're probably gonna have like chicken poop on your pants, and like you're gonna get it on your hands. And when your kid goes out there, they're gonna fall down, they're gonna get it on their hands. And like I got a video two weeks ago, I think it was, where I'm working on building my compost pile. So like let it all break down. And my kid falls face first right into the compost pile, and he's got it on his tongue, and it's all over his
Oh,
face, and it was pretty funny.
we my wife posted a little video on Facebook. Um, I had Corona in January, and so I was out, and it was cold and it was snowy, and she's posting like what people think homestead life is like, and it was one of those perfect well, homestead LARPing photos. And then the second one was one of the few times that she stages something. She's trudging across the snow carrying 2 5-gallon buckets of water, just full on snowsuit. She gets cold easily. It's not really that cold in Missouri, but full on snowsuit, just miserable as can be, carting water out there. And it's like, even on, like, that's just a normal winter day. Like, that's not even the misery. That's not even, having to put a chicken down, or, having to deal with dead goats, or, any of those things. That's not even a particularly miserable day. That's just a
Those are
normal
just
winter day.
chores.
Yeah, like, it isn't pretty. It's not, you know. There are pretty moments, but it again,
Yeah.
I think it goes back to that whole thing about why I don't like calling it homestead. Like, it's life, and there's days where, if you're walking out to get in your truck for the morning drive to work, it's a pretty sunset. And there's other times where it's a miserable day, and it's no different in this. Like, you're gonna have great days and you're gonna have crappy days, and they're
Hmm.
all not gonna look good on YouTube. I mean,
Like a buddy of mine, he said that he's a huge Joel Salatin fan. I think he's read like all his books, consumed all his content. And he went to go tour the farm, and he's like, it's interesting going there and seeing it. Everything that they do, like they put up on YouTube, everything shot specifically where you don't see the mess. You like, okay, like okay, I feel like I've seen them talk in front of this gate or whatever or whatever, but like if you go just a little bit this way, you see all this crap behind him. And so like even Joel Salatin makes it just a little unrealistic. Like my
yeah.
place looks just like his. And so
Well, and I think to some degree, like, I think we'd expect that because we've kind of industrialized food. Um, but in reality, like, I talk about this sometimes at work too. Like, the difference between, like, some days my work is very rote, and then some days it's more art. Like, it's just a matter of, like, you're taking what you've been handed, and you have to make something with it, and that's not always pretty.
right.
So if you have a factory farm, like, I have neighbors up the road, they have millions of dollars of machinery and all this stuff, and they have a routine, and everything's the same, and everything's organized, and they don't raise animals, and they don't have any of these. So yeah, their farm can look picture perfect, because their day is the same every day.
Yeah.
And it's industrial, and that's how that works. And this is it don't work that way. It's, you know, it can be ugly. So
It can be ugly, yeah. Well, it's late for you. It's late for me. I appreciate
yeah,
you spending more time hanging out and just
it was
BSing.
fun.
So, but yeah, maybe next year we're definitely hitting the road next year. That thing is for sure. But as far as like an itinerary, no idea. But
Yeah, let me know. Feel free to shoot me a
love to
message when
meet
the time
up. Yeah,
comes. We
that'd be awesome.
Northwest Missouri, so just an hour north of Kansas City if you're in the area. So feel free to swing by.
Sounds good. I
All
appreciate
right.
it, Josiah.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yep. You too. See ya.